Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sports on I-40 podcast. We are here today or this evening. I know it's pretty late, but we sort of had some technical difficulties, and hopefully we got everything worked out, and hopefully everybody can hear us out there. So tonight we're going to try our best to try to monitor the chat. I know that in the past episodes we've had some people who were making comments in the chat, and we just sort of trying to manage both the stream and the buttons down here. We kind of didn't notice those. So this is still new to us, and we're trying to do our best to get everything to work correctly. But anyhow, um, tonight we have some interesting things to talk about. For one, we had some basketball games that were played earlier this week, as well as um, some important ones, especially in the Copper division. And I want to say, in some ways, it doesn't surprise me, but there were some things that did surprise me too, as well. In particular, uh, schools like Snowflake and Tuba City putting in a valiant effort to remain in the Copper tournament, and we'll discuss that in just a moment. But as everybody knows, my name is Mac, and this is my co-host, or
Mac.
my name is Will, my co-host.
Mac.
And I've been saying Mac a lot this evening, so kind of came out there differently. But anyhow, so Mac, this past week we had some first round games. I guess we can start with the first one of the week. It was the Copper round, Holbrook versus Santan Charter, and we tried to stream that one. I think one of the issues we had was sort of the network connections sort of made it hard to watch on the from our phone
Yeah.
app that we were trying to stream it through, and but from what I can tell, it seemed that Holbrook sort of got overwhelmed by Santan Charter.
Yeah. Yeah. They were definitely size advantage, speed advantage, and Santan was the number one team, and they played like they were, man. Um, they they beat our boys on offense and on the defensive end. I think in the beginning it was kind of close for a while, and then eventually, Santan kind of got away and started hitting threes, and they got a couple dunks in there, and yeah, it changed the game for sure.
Awesome. You said a couple dunks,
Yeah, it was a few like more than two,
more
maybe
than two.
three or four,
Uh-huh.
dunks, maybe something like that.
Geez, were they? Was it a very tall team?
Yeah, they were taller, definitely taller than our boys.
Uh-huh.
Our tallest boys, Travis, pretty much, and they were making him look like a guard. So yeah, they
Uh-huh.
were taller.
So that height, I'm assuming, kind of intimidated them early. Um.
Yeah, maybe some.
Uh-huh. And you were telling me that the game got um relocated to a neutral site.
No, no, that not that one. But
Oh, the Santan Charter
the
one.
Chinley, yeah, the
Oh, okay, we're
Chinley
talking about
did.
Chinley. Okay,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. Well, I was trying to pay attention to the game, but as everyone knows, we were streaming both the Chinley game, and the Holbrook game at the same time.
yeah.
So it was sort of hard to see both of that was going on at the same, or it was hard for me to see both of those.
Mm,
Um, Now, I think did Holbrook end up losing by, was it 30 points,
something like that.
something
Yeah.
like that? So would you say that Santan Charter being ranked number one, is that a good place for them?
For Santan Charter.
Uh,
Yeah, they went and defeated Coolidge too.
hmm
I think the other day or so,
Wow, we could take a look at that too.
last night. I think. Yeah.
Comparing them to Valley Christian a couple years ago, are they something like that? Are they big like that? And
No, I say Valley Christian's still the tougher team from the past. They're still in it right now too. Valley Christian, they're the number
Mhm.
2 right now, and I see them in Santan Charter playing for championship. Man,
uh-huh. Well, that's interesting. Was there a lot of Holbrook fans at the
yeah, there
gym?
was a lot of Hobart fans. It was a kind of small gym. There was people standing on the side and against the wall and all that. It was pretty full. I
Uh-huh.
would say like 75, maybe like
Oh, back just a minute. Good talk.
75% maybe Holbrook fans mainly. Yeah, there's a lot of people there. Um, there's some Santan Charter fans there too, but I think most of it was Holbrook though.
Uh-huh. Wow, well, it was played in Gilbert, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Um, yeah, I guess it was just sort of a sudden. Well, it wasn't sudden. It was known for a while, but yeah, it was just. I think we just decided not. My fiance and I decided not to go the last minute. Just having to go down there, and these away games, especially these ones further away, are I guess they're so difficult to make arrangements for, and also go like in the middle of the week.
Yeah.
But I'm very glad you were able to go, and we were able to provide that stream for everybody,
Yeah.
despite the fact that it was it's at sometimes hard to watch
Yeah.
due to the quality of the video from the
Yeah.
network.
Yeah. We came back late, maybe like midnight or so, and I can't imagine what the parents went through, what time they got back. I know one of my friends, Mangle, he was still headed back home on we're driving when we got home, and they probably like 1 o'clock or so, and they had school the next day too. So, and shout out to all the parents and fans going out there, man,
Uh huh.
supporting.
Yeah. Well, that was good. The next one, again, I didn't really pay attention to it as much as I should have, but the Chinley versus Benjamin Franklin,
Mm-hmm.
and that was a pretty. From what I could tell, it was a pretty close game.
Yeah.
From what I saw on the stream, I know on our end they did not pick up the game until the second half.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they were showing the game in a neutral location, and or they were showing the game from their original gym, and there was nobody there at their gym. And then halfway through the game at the halftime, they finally switched
Oh,
it over
really?
to
Yeah.
because I remember during the stream I kept saying, not sure what's going on. There's just a picture, there's just a video of their gym, and it looks like there are people there, but they have yet to start.
Oh.
And then next thing you know, they finally play the video. They changed the stream, and all of a sudden it's at Mountain Point High School.
Oh.
And it was about halftime when they started,
Wow.
or started the third quarter.
Yeah, it was like tied at halftime or something.
It was pretty close at first, and
Yeah.
one of the general themes right now, as far as officiating for the state playoffs right now, is it just seems as though coaches are just letting these teams play. They're not really calling,
Referees.
referees. I mean, sorry, they're not really calling the fouls that they would normally call in the regular season.
Yeah.
And my guess is that it has to do with the fact that they don't really want these games to end on a controversial call. They sort of want them to just play it out and let the best team win. I mean, they're definitely calling fouls. It just seems like the ones that are normally called aren't being called, and sort of making some fans upset.
Yeah, I seen that in the Holbrook game. I would say like the more physical team, and Holbrook's not really a physical team like the boys compared to some of these other teams. Like playing against Santan Charter, which is a really physical team, there was a whole lot of difference between the contact, but that was going on, and yeah, they weren't calling a lot of the calls. It seemed like even the jersey tugging and all things like that. It wasn't. There was an incident where Amari got pushed by actually one of the boys, like he's just like a football type push, and they didn't even call anything on that.
Uh-huh.
It's surprising. I mean, I think they did a call, but it could have been possibly intentional or something like that. But
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Wow. But again, it just seems like I don't think these referees are coming out and saying, "Okay, we got a North team here, so let's not call fouls for them so that they can lose or something like that." Because I think I did see a video on. I was sent a video on TikTok from a lady from Chinley who went to the Chinley game,
yeah,
and she was complaining that she felt it was discrimination that these, Chinley, they didn't call a lot of fouls, and I did see that on the stream that someone did get injured, that there was an injury timeout
yeah,
for someone too as well.
Jaden,
Also with the fact that Chinley had to go down to Benjamin Franklin to play too, and I don't think those referees that ref that game, I don't think they really had any clues as far as I don't think they really had any bias against Chinley. I just think, and I've noticed it's been league wide from all the games that I've seen that the referees have been very lenient on fouls, and just hopefully you're on the better end of that. As far as teams coming to Chinley, I mean, the only way that could happen is Chinley. Any team from the north needs to have higher power points in order to make that case for a team to come up there for a playoff game.
yeah,
And right now, as it stands, it's really difficult for the North and East teams to be ranked high in the Copper right now. I mean, it could definitely change if they keep this tournament the way it is. It could definitely change in the future. But under the PowerPoint system, schools like Chinley or even like Holbrook, it's going to be really difficult to be unless they're a stellar team that's beating a lot of 3A teams that they beat non-conference
Yeah.
wise from Phoenix. It's going to be really difficult for them to have a higher seed in the copper or even just the regular 3A tournament to have a home game.
Yeah. The girls, that's going to happen easily for the girls, you know.
On the if you flip it the other way, it's quite the opposite.
Yeah.
And I would venture to say that the AIA, if anything, they have an incentive to allow North teams to advance rather than have them lose.
Mhm.
And I've always suspected that the North or the AIA, I don't want to say rigged, but made it easier for North teams to make the tournament and also advance simply because they need the revenue that they generate for fans going down there.
Mhm.
So again, like I said, it's hard for me to just flat out say, yeah, the refs were being discriminatory and biased towards these North schools, because in the end, it makes more sense for the AIA to be biased for them in order to get their fan base to fill up the Arizona Coliseum,
Mhm.
as opposed to them not being there.
Yeah.
Now, the next game that we watched up here, I also streamed the Snowflake Page game, girls Snowflake Page. That was the second round of the Copper tournament. I've been hoping so far. I was hoping to see a close game, like a last shot type of game,
Yeah.
and I haven't really seen it live. I know Ganado had something like that when they played. Who did they play? Seton Catholic.
Catholic, yeah.
But it seems like on the boys and the girls, there wasn't really any close games. It was pretty decisive endings for all these games.
Mhm.
And I was expecting to see Paige and Snowflake. I was expecting a buzzer
Yeah,
beater shot,
yeah.
a buzzer beater game, right? And instead, Paige kept up. Well, let me step back for a second. All day, I guess all week, it was Snowflake and Paige was scheduled for 7 o'clock all week. And I had set the live stream for 7 o'clock. And we were sort of doing our thing on Friday, and we thought we had time. And so we left Holbrook at a reasonable time to get to Paige or to Snowflake,
Mhm.
thinking, we can get ourselves
Making
a nice little
time, yeah.
seat, and all of a sudden we buy our ticket online, and then we get to Snowflake, and I mean, there's people there. I mean, the gym is full, but there's no one taking tickets or anything like that. No one checking tickets. We walk in there and realize it's halftime. And I guess sometime throughout the day, at least for everyone else, if you weren't a parent of a Snowflake student or a parent of a Page student, you basically didn't know that they rescheduled
Change
the
the
game for
schedule,
6 o'clock.
Yeah.
So we showed up basically an hour late, and it was halftime. So we caught the second half, but regardless, it was basically either tied or within a couple points at halftime, anyways. In the third quarter, which is what I watched third and fourth, but in the third, Paige hung in there in the third. I think they had a chance. Snowflake managed. I think Snowflake. What really rocked Paige was from Snowflake's play was the girls are taller.
Mhm.
They can jump a little bit higher, and they're athletic. I would say that technical wise, like when it comes to skills like dribbling and passing, I would say Paige is, definitely a step above Snowflake. But Snowflake had a lot of aggressiveness, a lot of height, a lot of athletic ability, and that was just able to overwhelm them. I mean, Paige could just not get a rebound.
Yeah.
It was frustrating to watch and see that, a ball would come down, and these Snowflake girls would just pick that ball right behind their back and take it up for two again,
Hmm.
or at least get another chance to make another offensive play after that, or set up their offense again to do it all over again. But I would say for next year, I think North and East teams, mainly North teams, I guess, they focus too much on the shooting and the dribbling. They don't ever focus on rebounding, and maybe it's a height thing, but
Box out.
man, I think if Paige could have got a few more rebounds on the defensive side and the offensive side, I think they could have kept themselves in position to win. But man, they just could not do it. It's the same thing with the Winter Joe City game, and we'll talk about that next.
Mhm.
But Winter also had a hard time with the rebounds
Rebounding.
because Joseph City, though they were technically not superior to Winter, they were taller and they could jump higher and they were getting rebounds. which I think is one of the main reasons why Joe City was able to at least stay reasonably close to Windrock and sort of avoid an embarrassing multi-digit loss.
Oh,
Um, but anyways, back to the Page game. That was really it. Page just making bad passes. They were having a hard time at one point in the third, late in the third, early in the fourth, getting the ball, over the half court line. Snowflake, where they were able to get some steals and just make easy buckets. Page tried their best to stay in the game, but again, it was just they were just overwhelmed by, I think, by the rebounding and the size of Snowflake.
Yeah.
And it just seemed like they just could not build enough momentum to get them over that. And they ended up losing by, I don't know, 10 points or whatever it was. At the end. So I guess that was all she wrote for the Copper tournament. I think this year the Copper tournament's sort of working out the way they intended it to be. But that's a double-edged sword too, because you got to think of it this way. Imagine if Tuba City lost, right? Then I would probably be saying that the real tournament's in the 3A. But since Tuba City's in it now, I guess you could say that Tuba City and Snowflake's in it. I guess you could say the real tournament's in the Copper now. But anyways, the next one, which happened earlier, was the Windrock Joseph City game, and I did go to that one because that's Joseph City is my alma mater. I wore my Letterman jacket over there, so if anybody went to the game and they saw me wearing my Letterman jacket, I was there to support Joseph City. Joseph City, and I did make a comment during the stream. I just sort of wanted to point out some of the major differences between the 1A and the 3A, and one of the instances, there's one play that happened that comes to mind. I cannot remember her name, but there was a gal from Joseph City. She got the ball, and basically it was one-on-one around about the 3-point line. In the 3A, a 3A North basketball player would have gone that and drove the ball to the basket and scored 2. And I think this player from Joseph City, who was in the same exact situation, that just did not translate it. And maybe she was too intimidated or felt confident enough to dribble the ball on the inside to get the easy 2. Instead, she shot it and she missed it. Right.
From a 3.
No, it was maybe a 10-footer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Took a couple of dribbles, got scared, and then tried to pull up for the jump shot. So that for me, that was one of the biggest differences between them two. Joseph City does have a stand-up player, Audrey Neal. She scored almost all their points. I think she scored 30. I think she finished
40 something
points. I think I put it on the. I think I filmed the last bit of it.
Using
reports, yeah.
Points of the end.
Yeah, she played really well against Windrock. One of the glaring things I noticed though about it was the fact that just things that I would say she would need to work on. One of them being her dribbling skills.
Yeah.
Looking down a lot. It's going to be hard to make plays if you're unable to look up.
What grade is she?
She's a senior this year.
Okay.
And I think just overall, Joe City, I don't know if it was because they were playing at Windrock, but to me, it just seemed like overall they were just a really bad shooting team.
Yeah, Windrock was making a lot of shots.
And Windrock made a lot of 3-pointers. And I made a comment to you that I thought Windrock, the only reason why Windrock stayed out of trouble was they made a lot of threes throughout that game to basically overwhelm Joseph City, because Joseph City was grabbing rebounds over Windrock like it was nothing.
Oh.
And I think a lot of it had to do with the height. But either way, though, Windrock, which I expected, I think I said Windrock by 15, something like that. That ended up being the case. I think Windrock won by 18 or something like that. So Windrock did eventually have a decisive win over Joe City. But I did say in the stream that it's going to be extremely difficult to beat a team like Windrock if you're lacking, some of these technical skills at that level, and it certainly showed that.
No.
So, anyways, the next one's Holbrook. They played Holbrook girls, ALA West Foothills.
Yeah.
I didn't make it to this game, but how'd that game go, Mac?
It went pretty good. It was all Holbrook pretty much. In the beginning, it was a pretty good. Maybe like the first less than maybe the first half, the first quarter maybe.
Uh huh.
It was pretty neck and neck, and LA they look pretty solid. They were a bigger team, definitely taller than Holbrook, but Holbrook just played a running game, man. They were constantly moving and shooting, and their shooting that night was, man, it was good. It was really good. I
Uh
think
huh. Do you think it's a sustained performance, or do you think it was one of those nights where they were just playing really well?
I don't know, man. It's kind of hard to say sometimes with our girls because sometimes they show up and it's a totally different game sometimes. But that night they were on it.
Mm-hmm.
I think Billy Williams was finished with like 7 threes or something. That's what I heard. But yeah, she was feeling it that night.
Uh huh. Yeah, it was nice to see them get the victory. I know that they're gonna have a familiar foe this coming week against Sholo,
Yeah,
and that'll be interesting to watch. But before we get to that, though, I do want to talk about Winslow Altusay because I did go to that game, and I think I believe iTalk was streaming that as well. So
yeah.
if you went to the game, that's cool. If you watched on TV, that's great too.
Yeah.
But I went, and that was one of those games where I was expecting it to be a close one, and in some ways it was, but Winslow sort of had some momentum late and was able to stop any kind of Altusay surge. And what was most disappointing about that Altusay game, besides the fact that Altusay lost, was that uh, I was saying earlier, I don't know if I said it on the podcast, but I know I did say it to you through text that I thought Michael Williams was the best player in the best boys player in the 3A East, and he had impressed me all
Micah
season
Yazzie.
long. Yeah, Micah Yazzie, and I don't know what happened to him. He didn't play well in the Holbrook game at Holbrook. He didn't. He must have not played well because didn't they lose their last game
Yeah.
to win? Not Winslow. They I know they beat Winslow once, right?
Yeah.
At Winslow.
No, they beat Winslow
They
twice.
beat Winslow twice. Okay.
One at Winslow, one at
Uh-huh.
I'll just say. He
Um,
fouled out last night too.
Yeah, he fouled out, and he just didn't seem to contribute as much as he needed to win that game. I was expecting him to come out there and really put up some points, really get some turnovers, and instead it was just there's no better way to say it. It was just a dull performance, a lackluster performance that should have been a great one, but instead it just ended with Altusay losing. And I guess there's really not much else to say. I mean, my dad went as well, and my dad kind of thought both teams played horribly. uh, and in the ways, I guess I kind of agree. I mean, both teams missed a lot of shots, and I know that they both together put up a combined score of over 100 points, but it just seemed like a struggle. Like a lot of fouls weren't called in that game. It was a pretty rough game.
Mm-hmm.
The referees were just letting them play,
Yeah.
and
It looked that way.
yeah, and whenever they got the ball down low, whatever, it seemed like Winslow, Mr. Jordan, had watched the Holbrook Altusay game, and he sort of used Holbrook's defensive strategy against Altusay, and that paid off big for them. One of the ways was, Altusay has a player that when they bring their offense down, kind of hangs at the top of the key around the free throw line, and they'll pass it to him, and then they kind of give them an option to either pass to someone else or possibly make a move to the basket. But it seemed like every time that player got the ball at the free throw line, there was always two defenders on them, and that was able to steal the ball from them or disrupt it in a way that didn't allow Altusay to score.
That high post.
Yeah. And Altusay, I don't know if it's their coach. They just, for some reason, were not able to adjust. And you would think after playing against Holbrook, you would think that you would find a way to help your team adjust in case you play a team that does that to you, or at least know how to make adjustments during the game, right?
Yeah.
But instead, it just seemed like he didn't do anything, and they were just hoping to win by maybe making 3-pointers or something. But at the end of the day, Winslow won, and they just happened to be the better team on that day, and they advanced.
Yep.
And that's too bad. I really like the Altusay. I still want, if there's any viewers from Altusay watching, I still want a Altusay versus everyone shirt. That's a really cool shirt. So yeah. Anyways, let's sort of talk about some of the games coming up this week, and
Yeah, it was a good performance by Kobe Chi last night. Player of the game,
he had a great
freshman.
performance too as well. He's one of the standout players for them, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he improves next year and the following years. Winslow's going to be tough, and I know that Mr. Jordan had told us when we interviewed him back in November that he felt like they were going to be a better team in the future too. So they're certainly looking that way. But it's great that they were able to move on. Let's go to the girls' championship here. This is the 3A girls copper bracket, or not 3A, the Copper State Championship bracket here. Interesting, and we're going to have Greg Perkins on the podcast tomorrow, and I want to ask him some questions about some of the things that happened, not only for the tournament, but some other changes in the AIA. But this is interesting. They decided to do the 3A, the Copper Tournament semifinals at Winslow High School. And did you say originally it said to be announced?
Yeah, it said, I believe it's what it said.
Well, luckily for us, probably the most popular sport in the state is going to be happening in Winslow. So the first one here, the first matchup we have at 3:00 on Saturday next week is Snowflake versus number 1 Snowflake versus number 4 Valley Christian. Now I have not seen Valley Christian play. The last time I seen Valley Christian girls was when Holbrook beat them, like 2 years ago, was it?
Yeah.
But I do believe they must be a tough opponent because they did beat San Carlos by 8. What's 8 plus 7? 15 points.
15 points.
Yeah. So that'll be an interesting one to see. I really do think Snowflake's vulnerable. I mean, they're good. I think they definitely deserve to be number 1. We'll just have to see if they can sustain that and pull themselves into the championship.
Yeah.
I wish I could say a lot more, but I haven't seen Valley Christian play at all. Do you have any idea, Mac?
Nope.
What's your prediction on this?
I think Snowflake will win it. I think they'll have the home crowd, and I think they'll show up, man. I see Snowflake winning this.
I think Snowflake's vulnerable, but I think they'll cruise over Valley Christian. Maybe. I don't think it'll be a buzzer beater.
Yeah, I see by like 7 or so.
Going down to the next game here, Tuba City and Pima. I think this is going to be uncomfortably close.
Yeah.
And I say that because from what I've seen in the Pima Winter Rock, from whatever videos I've seen online of this game that happened, Pima seems comparable in size and play to Snowflake. And I'm gonna venture to say that the Tuba City, I think, is going to have a tougher challenge than they're expecting. So I hope that they don't take Pima lightly, because Pima's certainly good enough to. They're good enough to beat anybody, I think, if you give them enough turnovers, and enough chances to score.
This is all next Saturday, huh? 3:00 and 6:00.
3:00, 6:00, yeah. So one after the other. I wonder if they're gonna, once the game ends, they're gonna chase everybody out, and then you got to buy another ticket to come in.
Intermission.
Because it counts as 2 games.
Yeah.
Looks like Floyd Simmons is gonna be there. He's been doing the NFHS pay-per-view stuff.
Oh, really?
So I mean, he must have a good contract to do something like that. Make it worth his while to do it.
Yeah. I noticed that they changed some of the like the Holbrook game. iTalk was supposed to be there or some of that. They didn't broadcast that game, which is why we went live that night.
Oh yeah, we originally weren't going to. I think.
Yeah.
Because I saw that on there, but then
Yeah.
they didn't. And you had called me like 15 minutes before. It's like,
Like,
nobody's
hey,
here.
nobody's here. Like, yeah, no one's set up.
Yeah. But anyhow, I'm glad we got it. I mean, at least we got to see something, you know. Did you see Alberto at the Holbrook game? Usually he's streaming it on like
Nah,
Instagram or something.
I didn't see him.
Oh, maybe that's why we didn't.
Yeah. You need 1,000 followers for Instagram to go live now.
So yeah, leave if you have any comments, about this tournament. Please put it in the comment, and maybe you'll have an interesting
maybe
question.
some questions for Perkins tomorrow that you want to ask because he's part of the whole AIA thing, huh?
Yeah, for people that are watching, if you guys have any questions you think we should ask Perkins tomorrow, respectful questions that we should ask Perkins tomorrow, please put it in the chat, and maybe we can work something out, work it into our questions tomorrow. Let's go to the next one here. We'll go to just the 3A girls bracket now. Here we have the round one up at the very top. Let's start here. February 18th. We have Payson at Monument Valley, followed by Winslow at Push Ridge, and then Ganado at Altusay. So let's stop at the top here. Payson, Monument Valley. Monument Valley appears to be slightly better in the power rankings against Payson. If the Payson girls are similar to, are they pretty similar to last year's team as far as remaining players?
I don't even know.
I haven't seen them play at all either. I'm gonna say I'm gonna give Monument Valley the edge. I think Monument Valley is gonna win this game by maybe 2 points. I'm gonna say 2 points. It's gonna be a close game.
I see Monument Valley by quite a bit.
By quite a bit.
It's gonna be a home game too, so I see them.
I mean, that's a good point.
Favorable.
You got to think about this, folks. Payson is down there, at the bottom of the rim or close to or sort of at the base or somewhere within the rim, right? And there's really no way to get this way. I mean, they could probably drive through Strawberry and go up into Winslow, but that's like a treacherous road for a school bus. Or they take 260 and they go all the way to Heber and then Heber to Holbrook. And then if they do that, then they got to go Holbrook to maybe Chambers, and then Chambers to Ganado, and then Ganado to Burnside, and then Burnside to Chinle, and then Chinle to Mini Farms, and then Mini Farms through, how do you say that?
Chimbito.
Yeah, up there, and then eventually they're in Kansas, right?
Yeah.
So it's a long bus ride, and I could see that playing a big factor against Payson.
Mm-hmm.
And their fans too. I mean,
That's a long way.
I'm even like just dreading driving up there, and I've lived in Holbrook,
Yeah.
But if Cannon Dalton has a good game and Darcy Anago has a good game, I'm expecting Monument Valley to win this.
Mm-hmm.
But my confidence in them right now is maybe 50-50. It could be, to me, in my mind, it's like a coin toss. It just depends on which team shows up to play and who gives up the most turnovers. Monument Valley is prone to a lot of turnovers. That's always been my biggest criticism of Monument Valley since I've started watching the last few years. Just a lot of turnovers, stupid turnovers. Even when what's her name was playing for them, Karen Mann was playing for them. They still had, turnovers that just didn't make sense, and it could have helped them win some games, especially against Snowflake last year. Going down here, we have Winslow Push Ridge. How do you feel about this one? I mean, Winslow.
I don't know much about Push Ridge, man.
I don't either. Who did they play They played someone in the copper bracket. They played Snowflake, and they lost by basically over 30 points. 3, 4, 5, 30 points. If that's the case, then I am going to say that Winslow could win this game, to be honest.
Yeah.
Winslow could win this game. I think it's going to be close. I'm going to go with Winslow with the upset on this one.
I think they can do it.
They can do it. And if they do,
their fans are going to show up down there.
I'm gonna take Winslow in the upset. I'm gonna say Winslow by 1. They have the ability. Can they execute it? Is the question. Next one here. You know, outside of the Holbrook game, I'm gonna say these two games here. Ganado out to say Holbrook Sholo, I think are the two games that I'm looking forward to seeing this week. Let's talk about Ganado out to say. Ganado had that 2 or 3 overtime victory over Seton Catholic. I did manage to watch the stream later on after the game just to see the ending there. And so far, the Ganado, that game was the only game I'd seen that was a buzzer beater. And Ganado just continued to answer. And Seton Catholic just sort of ran out of steam in the final overtime.
That was an upset game
Yeah,
too.
and it was an upset game too. I know that in the second overtime, the first regulation time, Seton Catholic managed to tie the game with like I don't know, with 5 seconds or something like 5 seconds left in the game or something like that. They managed to tie it, and then McIntosh,
Jason
McIntosh, is that her name?
Yeah.
Well, to my surprise, I thought she graduated. I didn't know she was still playing. And she was just one of those players where you thought they graduated, but they're still playing. Surprised to see them play, but I guess she's a senior here. Anyway, she was able to take a player 1-on-1, and she went up for the layup. It was a difficult layup. It wasn't an easy one, and she barely missed that layup. It just kind of hung on the rim, and she missed it. That was for the win, and they went into the first overtime. In the first overtime, Seton Catholic managed to go up by 2 with like 2 seconds or 1 second left. No. They went up by 2. I don't know, maybe like 10 or 5 seconds, something like that. And Ganado had a chance to basically tie or win. And I think they missed some shot, but the ball went out of bounds with like 1 second left. And Ganado got to inbound it under the basket. And Abigail Bonatti, the coach, she drew up a great inbounds play. Essentially, they went around, and one of the girls from Ganado managed to lose her player, and she came in and got the bounce pass
Gianna.
for the
Gianna did
layup.
that last layup.
layup to tie the game, which was big. I think Seton Catholic was thinking they were going to win it at that point, and just that little mistake put them into the next overtime. And at that point, I think Seton Catholic just kind of lost steam, and Ganado sort of kind of had an early lead, and they just kind of sustained it, and they ended up beating them at the very end.
It seemed like Ganado had a lot of buzzer beater games this year, man. A lot of close ones at the end.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. So if you haven't seen that stream, I would recommend it. At least watch the very end of it. The very end of the regulation time, and then watch the overtime finishes to it too. It was really entertaining.
That's a big game. Them and Altusay.
Yes. Altusay as a community, they're hungry for a win. You know, Altusay lost to who they played this past week in the Copper.
I don't remember.
Altusay played. Let me see. They played Pima, and they lost by about 10 or something.
15.
10, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 15 points. So, and then the boys recently got eliminated from the tournament. So the community as a whole, they're hungry for a win. It's going to be, Altusay's good. They're good enough to beat anybody, but I think they're vulnerable too. And I think Ganado, I think they're playing with inspiration right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to take Ganado on the upset. Altusay's a tough place to play.
Yeah.
But I think Ganado comes from a place, and they're used to playing in tight, hostile games. So I think Ganado has the ability to win on this one here.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Ganado on this by 2.
Yeah, it's going to be a close game for sure. I know that. Ganado can win it.
Okay, the next one here. The game of the week, Holbrook at Sholo. Now, I told you when they brought this game out or they scheduled this game, my first thought was I don't feel good about this game for Holbrook. I know they managed to beat Sholo at home. They should have beat Sholo away,
Mhm.
right? But Sholo seems like a team that's out to prove themselves because of their dismal season that they've had this year. I mean, they could have been. I was expecting them to be contenders in the East. They were ranked like number 2 or 3 in our preseason rankings
Yeah.
when we combined the North and the East, and they just had a tough slide throughout the year. And so I expect this to be. I don't expect this to be an easy game for Holbrook. But I am going to give Holbrook the edge. If they continue their momentum, that's a big if. It's going to have to depend. Holbrook's like a Jekyll and Hyde team, right? One day they're this amazing team, and the next day they can't even get the ball across the court without the ball getting stolen, right? So it's just going to depend on who's going to show up. But I'm going to take Holbrook in this one. I think they're going to win by 5 against Sholo.
That's it. I'm going Holbrook on this one too. I think they can win over there. I think Sholo's more afraid that they were playing Holbrook in this one, to be honest.
So looks like we have a comment here. I'm down with Winterrock versus Altusay, and the other one, and Altusay all the way. Thank you for the comment. Yeah, I mean Altusay, I like Altusay a lot. I think they're a great community. I've also said that Altusay is the last great traveling team. Everyone still comes and watches the games, and they're from White River and the surrounding area down there.
Yeah.
Just a great, I think just a great basketball community.
See, go back up on that bracket. What does he mean by Altusay win the rock? He's talking about the top of the bracket on that part right there.
Here.
That could very well happen, man.
Oh, you know, I do think Ganado and Altusay has a pathway to the semifinals. Because I think Ganado and Altusay will beat Winslow or Pushridge, whoever's going to be.
Yeah.
Unless Pushridge is a good game, unless we're underestimating Pushridge by a lot. But if let's say Winslow beats Pushridge, I do think Ganado or Altusay could beat Winslow. Will beat Winslow to get to the semis.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like there is a clear path. That's a good point too. To the person that made the comment there, I think there's a good possibility that we could see Altusay in the semifinals. And like I said, I want to get one of those Altusay versus everyone shirts. That's a cool shirt. If you could, you can get me in contact with whoever makes that. Let me know, and I'll wear that shirt on the podcast. Last thing I want to talk about here, on this bracket here, I guess there's 2 of them. First, if Holbrook wins or Sholo wins, they got to go all the way to Yuma next week or on Saturday.
That's crazy.
And I'm glad it's one day. I mean, that's a long trip down there. And I've only been to Yuma like one time.
Yep.
And that was back in like the year 2000. So I probably wouldn't recognize the town if I went or not. So
take your CIB.
take your CIB down there if you got them. You know, if the Copper tournament wasn't in Winslow, I was really considering driving down there if Holbrook did beat Yuma Catholic and do a live stream of the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if everybody wants us to go down, if everybody wants me to go down there, I can go down there. Just leave it in the comments and maybe I'll consider it. But anyhow, I don't know much about Yuma Catholic. I do think it'll be a tough game regardless. If whoever wins this game, Holbrook or Sholo.
Mm-hmm.
Lastly, Page. It's just so weird. You know, it's very possible it's gonna be a Chinley Page rematch.
Yep.
Again, you know, this North team's playing North teams to advance. But we'll see. I guess I'm gonna take Chinley over Gilbert Christian. I think they'll handle them pretty well.
It's
But
gonna be hard for Gilbert Christian to win in Chile, man.
oh, it's Gilbert Christian's going to Chinley.
Yep.
Dang, that's a long bus ride for them too. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If you guys have any comments in the chat, please let us know. Um, anyhow, let's go really quick to our last two topics here. That will be the boys bracket here. Um, so let's go here. We have in the finals, we have Phoenix Country Day and Santan Charter in the semis. And then we have Benjamin Franklin Valley Christian. I wish I could say a lot more, but I haven't seen any of these teams play. I know Max saw Santan Charter play, but I haven't seen any of these teams. And it's so strange because it seems like the only big school or the only private school that's in it is Valley Christian and maybe Santan Charter, I guess. I guess Phoenix Country Day is a private school, I believe. I don't think Benjamin Franklin's a private school, right?
No, they're 3A.
Okay. I think Valley Christian is going to beat Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah.
I expect Valley Christian in there because if Benjamin Franklin had a hard time against Chinley, I think Valley Christian will beat them pretty handily. This might be a better game to watch. Santan Charter, Phoenix Country Day. Phoenix Country Day did beat Palo Verde Magnet by 4 points. So, maybe I'll watch it later on, like in the stream or something, the NFHS stream or something, and I'll watch it so you don't have to, and we'll talk about it next time. All right, let's go to the 3A tournament here. In the 3A bracket here, we have for the boys here, that is, we have let me see, Winslow and Coolidge. Winslow be out to say, so Winslow's gonna be playing Coolidge at Coolidge. How do you feel about that game? You think Winslow can beat Coolidge?
That's gonna be a tough one.
I don't know much about Coolidge, but
Coolidge definitely has a size advantage. They have a tall kid that's been pretty good. He gave Holbrook a hard time last year.
Okay. I guess I want to take Coolidge over Winslow. I think Mr. Jordan will have a good plan. We'll see if they can execute it or not. But I guess I'm going to go with Coolidge on this one. Next one here, Chinley Yuma Catholic. Is Yuma Catholic coming all the way to Chinley?
They are.
Wow.
That's the furthest a team has to travel, I think.
Dang, that's a long ways. I hope they bring their cameras. They can take some pictures of Canyon Duche up there.
Yep.
I think it'll be a culture shock for them, to come up there. When I was my basketball coach in high school, his name was Gabriel Van Gussie. He was from Washington or something like that. He was I think he had aspirations to play Division I basketball, but he got injured, I think, in junior college. But anyways, that's not the whole point. This was his first time we went to Rock Point to play a basketball game, and we stopped in Chinley, and he said that was the first time he had ever seen like horses and cows. Like, because remember they sometimes hang around like bashes right there.
Mm-hmm.
He said that was the first time he had ever seen something like that before. So yeah, it'll be a culture shock for them, I think, and maybe that'll give them some kind of advantage as well. Next one here, Snowflake at Holbrook. Holbrook managed to split the series with Snowflake this year. Do you think Holbrook can do what they need to do to put Snowflake away for the last time this year?
Yeah, they can. They can definitely do it, man.
They have the weapons, and they've demonstrated that they can to do it. Let's just see if they can execute it. I'm going to take Holbrook on this one. Shoot. How bad did they beat Snowflake last time at home?
I think it was like 3-4 points.
3-4 points. I'm going to take Holbrook by 10. I think it's going to be a decisive victory for Holbrook over Snowflake.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. like I said, it's all going to depend on how it is, how Holbrook comes out of the gun, out of the chute, and plays Snowflake. But I'm definitely going to be there to watch. It's on Tuesday, right?
Mhm.
Tuesday night. So yeah, if you're a Holbrook fan or if you're in the area and you just want to see some good basketball, come over to Holbrook. We got the best hot dogs in the 3A North and East because I'm the official hot dog expert. So anyways, do you have any other comments you want to make about this, Mac?
No, I think Holbrook played Payson earlier this year in the Round Valley tournament. I think they lost by like 2 points. It was a close game in the championship game.
Uh-huh.
So I see them matching up together in that next round.
Uh-huh.
And that's to be a good game again, too.
Yeah, it seems like if Holbrook can get past Snowflake, I think Holbrook does have a pathway to the semifinals.
Yep.
A reasonable pathway to the semifinals. I mean, there's no guarantees in this particular bracket, but I think Holbrook does have a good chance to make it. We'll just have to see if they can put something together and some momentum together and ride it to the semifinals.
Yep.
I mean, if you think about it, look at this. Let's say Holbrook does make the semifinals. Who do you think they're most likely going to play? Coolidge?
Coolidge.
Okay. So, Holbrook Coolidge matchup. I haven't seen Coolidge play, but they lost pretty good against Santan Charter?
Santan Charter, yeah. They lost by 15.
15? Okay. So I guess based on that score, would you say Coolidge is kind of within the same ballpark as Holbrook?
I would say maybe just based on comparing them to Santan Charter, I say they're a little better, but anything can happen. I mean, any team can lose. Any team can have a really good night. Like that's what's great about basketball, man.
Uh-huh. You never know. It could be a magical run to the finals. You know,
just depending on the matchup.
Uh-huh. It'll be interesting to see if that happens. If they do, maybe they'll make a Netflix movie out of it.
By Delmar.
Yeah. So if you have anything, again, remind everybody, tomorrow we're going to be having an interview with Coach Perkins. I have a lot of good questions that I want to, ask him about as well too. And if you guys have any questions too, please leave it in the comments, I guess, after the live stream ends, if you haven't put it in already now. It's always great to have Greg on. He's a great guest, easy to talk to. And I certainly have a lot of questions to ask too, especially some AIA stuff as well.
Yeah, he's always willing to come on too. He's easy to get on the podcast.
Yeah, and if you're listening, let everybody know too that Greg Perkins coming tomorrow. I'm gonna post it. I'll probably schedule it tomorrow, so it should come up on everybody's feed as a.
We're starting at 9 now.
Yeah, we're starting at 9. Yeah. So, yeah, please, by all means, And if you have questions too, we'll probably take questions too if we have any tomorrow. So if you have some questions for Mr. Perkins tomorrow, if you tune in tomorrow, if you have some questions, we'll pass them on to him and see if he wants respectful questions, that he might be willing to answer.
Yeah, put your name on there.
Yeah, put your name on there too, so we know. Just kidding. But anyways, well, I hope everyone enjoyed this late night podcast. If you haven't seen it, you can always watch it in the morning too. And do you have anything else, Mac?